Hello, Brick Sculptors, and welcome back to Brick Sculpt. This is Chris, and today we're going to talk to you about the plans I have for my new Lego city. Now, I've put a lot of thought into this, and a lot of this is tailored towards the sides of the table I have. A lot of Lego cities I see are very urban, skyscrapers, a lot of concrete, road plates, stuff like that, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love seeing that kind of stuff. But I want to go for a little different vibe here. I want to go kind of small town, backwoods, vacation spot. Somewhat similar to my old town, but with a newer kind of updated vibe. Let me show you kind of the layout that I've thought through here. And keep in mind, none of this is set in stone. I'm just playing with ideas here, so this is all subject to change. I'm also not going to build elevation on this, because this is just for planning purposes. So first of all, let's plug in the water. I do want this to be based around kind of being like a lakefront, like I said, north woods, backwoods, lakefront, maybe a state beach with a really cool, little beach area, or some camping. So in the downtown area, which is going to be over here, I do want to have a waterfront. It's not going to be a big amount of water, but a nice waterfront there. And then I want to have water follow pretty much the whole length of the front of the board. This is pretty common in Lego cities because, obviously if you put a lot of water in the city itself, it takes up a lot of space. So you kind of use your imagination where you stand in the portion that would be water, and the rest of it you can see on the board. So with that waterfront in place, I'll probably do more like a little bit of an inlet right here, just to get a little more surface area of water if I do want to put some boats or small watercraft in there. I think that's kind of a good way to do that without taking up a whole lot of the city space. And I also want to do a small inlet right about here. And what that's going to do is I'm going to have kind of a very small river, maybe even possibly called a creek, running through this area here. So that's kind of the layout of the water that I want. Nice little waterfront and a small river or creek right there. Now let's go ahead and put some roads in. Now for the roads, I've shown you several videos now of my new road plates. That's what we're going to be using. And I want kind of one main drag through the town. It's not going to be a really huge developed downtown. Again, we're going for small town in the woods, maybe a farm, maybe farms nearby. It's going to be definitely a little two-stoplight town. We'll have a couple of cross streets here, like that. And I do want to add a small parking lot here, because it's going to be kind of a recreational area. So being able to have people park here and get down to the water will be nice. I'm then going to have the road kind of branch down this way toward the more rural area. And I think I need to move my river over a little bit, so let me do that real quick. All right, and then we're going to have a small bridge, nothing big. If you've seen my previous videos, I already kind of made a small bridge going over that little river. And of course, I'm going to change that bridge. That was just a concept. And then about here, I'm going to have the road end, meaning it's no longer going to be paved. And then we're going to pick up on a dirt road, because I want this to get more and more rural the further outside of the small town that we get. So I'm going to pick up with some dirt road here and just kind of work my way off of that road. Kind of like this. Maybe give it a little curve. Just like that. And again, this is subject to change. My initial thought was to put farms out here, but I think I'm going away from that. I don't really want farms in this because I want it to look more vacation-esque. Well, let's go ahead and place some buildings in here. Now the first one, I am keeping my bank mock, so this will represent the bank mock. I'm thinking that's going to go right about here. Next to that, I want kind of an older, tall brick school, similar to what I had in my old city, but much more refined and better looking. And that'll kind of go in this downtown row. I want these buildings to look old and dated, but still usable and still current, just to kind of get that small town vibe. On the side here, I'm thinking like a sheriff's station. Another tall brick building, 2 stories, probably 3 stories. This is 3 stories. That'll probably be 3, and this might be 2. But in that kind of city block there. On the back corner here, smaller towns usually have some older, possibly abandoned, possibly functioning industrial type buildings, warehouses and things. So I'm thinking like an old dark orange brick building here. It's kind of, maybe I'll make it abandoned. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll make it kind of dilapidated but still functional. Not totally sure, but I think that'll fill that space nice. And it's all the way in the back, so it'll just kind of give some detail there and take up a lot of space, but without being something front center that you see. Right here, I'm thinking a supermarket, kind of right on this corner. And again, this is all subject to change. I'm just plugging things in to play around with right now. And on this corner right here, I'm thinking a gas station. I think that'd be pretty cool. And then over on the waterfront, we're going to make it a little bit more recreational and more fun for touristy type people. So I'm thinking like some bars and restaurants, or maybe small shops, things like that we can plug in here right on the parking lot. Things that, some shopping and things. And then along this water, we do want to add some features. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this, but I'm thinking a boardwalk would be pretty cool. Because this area here is going to be a little more developed on the city, and then this is obviously going to be a little bit more beach-like. Down in here, we'll have some small public beaches along these areas. And then because this is giving kind of like a state park, maybe national park, but maybe not that extreme, I do want to put a little ranger station. And I think the ranger station would be cool kind of on maybe an angle here. Maybe do sugar grid method. Put that kind of right in the corner. And that'll kind of bridge from that more downtown area into the more rural area. Every small town needs to have a white church. Daryl at Bevan's Bricks made an awesome one of these. He actually took the design from someone else. I don't know who, so I apologize if I'm not giving credit appropriately. But I do want to design. I've never done one, and I've always wanted to do a small white church to put in the downtown there. And again, these might move around, but I think this looks pretty good for now. Okay, so as we get out here, we're going to start to put in houses. Now, I want these to be more vacation-y homes. I want them kind of spaced out kind of far. I want some larger ones, people that have quite a bit of disposable income plugging in here along this lakefront. And just kind of scatter them throughout. I don't know how many there's going to be. I don't know exactly where they're going to be placed. But just to give a nice representation here, we'll put some all along this water. And then as we get into this area, I was originally thinking I was going to do farms, but I don't think I want to do farms. I don't think it works with the whole state park vibe as well. So I'm thinking campsite. I had the kind of cool idea, maybe do some cabins. So I can make several of these smaller cabins that kind of match and just do them in a circle here on this dirt road. I think that'd look pretty nice. Never done anything like that before. Down in front here by the water, I'm thinking a campsite. So just plugging in some small tents in these areas, maybe spread them out a bit, give them their own kind of isolated space. I think that'd be kind of cool. And then you have the beach right there. I could bring the beach down further if I wanted as well. Up in this area here, I wasn't totally sure what I wanted, but I'm thinking maybe some rock work. You can kind of tie in some hiking here. Nothing real big. I want this to be fairly flat with just mild elevation. I don't want cliffs and stuff, but maybe something you could build like a hiking trail in or something along those lines. Just kind of reaching out here that it kind of disappears into rocks. And I can also possibly bring rocks down and tie them into the water here as well. But then for this entire area, I want it to be heavily wooded. I want this to kind of look like all these houses are kind of buried in the woods. So you kind of, vibe where you can't see your neighbor's house very well. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Again, I want these fairly spaced out. Some will be closer than others, but I do want some space in between a lot of them. But I want a lot of this stuff hidden by trees. We really have to look into it and find all the little details. One of my favorite things to build in Lego is trees. And so this is going to take a lot of trees. But I think I'm up for the challenge here. I think it'll look good to have this really wooded. It's one thing that's always a struggle with Lego cities is putting in enough greenery and enough vegetation. And I think I'm up for the task. I think it's going to turn out pretty cool having this really wooded and have all these features hidden in here. So that's my plan. I hope you guys like this idea. If you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Keep in mind, I am kind of stuck to this idea. I don't really have the intention of changing it. So if you comment, no, you should do a spaceport, I hate to break it to you. Great idea, but I'm not going to do a spaceport. But anyway, if you have any cool stuff you think would fit well in here, let me know below in the comments. I love hearing your guys' feedback. That's all I got for this time. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. We're going to do more just like this in the future, and we'll see you next time.